Hey everyone, welcome back, or if this is your first time here, welcome. Today's video is a special one, because I'm sharing my very first coding project ever. I just finished my first session at a coding bootcamp, and I want to be honest with you, I don't know a lot yet. I'm not here pretending to be an expert. I'm here to show you exactly where a beginner starts, mistakes, and all, because I think that's actually more useful than watching someone who already knows everything. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the project I built after just one session, a menu flyer for an imaginary cafe I made up called Jin27. Let me set the scene. Jin27 is a cafe I imagined. It doesn't exist yet, but I plan to actually build a full website for it someday. This flyer is step 1. Jin27 sells 3 types of things: food, drinks, and snacks. Simple menu, simple cafe, but it gave me a real project to practice on instead of just doing random exercises. I figured, why learn to code with boring placeholder text when I could build something for a business I actually care about? It made the whole thing feel less like homework and more like a real project. You might be wondering, why start with a menu flyer? Well, after one bootcamp session, I basically knew the absolute basics: how to structure a page, how to add some text, some headings, maybe a list, and a little bit of styling. A menu flyer is perfect for that level, because at its core, a menu is just a title, some sections, a list of items in each section. That maps almost exactly onto what I just learned. No databases, no complicated logic, just structure and a bit of style. It was the perfect small win project. So the first thing I had to figure out was, how do I even organize this? I decided to break Jin27's menu into 3 categories, because that's literally how the cafe is set up in my head. First, food. This is the heartier stuff, the things people would order if they're actually hungry. Second, drinks. Coffee, tea, maybe some cold drinks too. Third, snacks. Smaller bites, things you grab alongside a drink or in between meals. Splitting the menu into these 3 categories did 2 things for me. It made the flyer easier to read for an imaginary customer, but it also made the code easier for me to write, because I could focus on one section at a time instead of trying to build the whole page at once. That's actually a lesson that stuck with me already: break the big thing into smaller pieces. Once I had my 3 categories in my head, I started actually building. I used a heading for the cafe name, Jin27, right at the top, so it's the first thing anyone sees. Then underneath that, I created a section for each category: food, drinks, and snacks, each with its own heading, and then a list of items underneath. For each item, I kept things pretty simple at this stage: just a name and maybe a short description or a price, depending on the item. I wasn't trying to make it perfect. I was trying to make it work, and make it make sense. Honestly, one of the biggest realizations I had was how much structure matters before style even comes into play. Before I touched any colors or fonts, I just wanted the content itself to be organized in a way that made logical sense. Food together, drinks together, snacks together. Clear headings. Clear grouping. Once the structure was in place, I got to have a little fun with styling. Now I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about design yet, but I did learn enough after one session to make some basic choices. Things like picking a color that felt right for a cafe, something warm, something inviting. Making the cafe name stand out first project, pick something small enough that you can actually finish it. Finishing something, even something tiny, feels completely different from staring at a huge